Good day, you sexy internet travelers! Bailey here, and today we are back with episode 10 of Kuzu no Honkai, so let's dive in. The episode is aptly named Fragile and Empty, and we get to see why as they delve into the intricacies of Minagawa's psyche. We see more detail into why Minagawa was pursuing Kanai and why she was so fixated on Hanabi. Yes, Minagawa says that she loves the jealousy it causes in other women, but Minagawa also hints that she was jealous of Hanabi. Minagawa says that she acts as she does because it's the only thing she really understands about herself, whereas she perceives Hanabi to have experienced an adolescence wherein Hanabi understands more about herself than Minagawa did or does. Now, I think it's debatable how much Hanabi actually understands about herself, but that's irrelevant because if Minagawa thinks Hanabi understands herself, then that's all that matters because perception is reality. Now, between Minagawa and Mugi, we see that she could not be much more disenchanted with him. To her, he is just another guy behaving pretty much exactly how she expects him to, but she is not so much caught up in analyzing him as she is in analyzing herself. However, Mugi continues to try to reach out to her, even though he seems to hate her as much as he is in love with her. He also says that the reason he thinks he will never be a match for her is because he is afraid to be hated by someone he loves. And I think this barrier is probably the most prevalent barrier in all relationships. Why don't you ask your crush out? Well, because you like them, and if they say no, then you are obviously not an attraction for the person you like. Why do you keep secrets from your significant other, despite saying that you've told them all your secrets? Well, because you are afraid of them not loving you if they learn everything there is to know about you. It's a romantic barrier that unfortunately seems to plague just about every human on the planet. Minagawa and Kanai go to an aquarium, and Minagawa is quite puzzled as to how atypically Kanai is behaving. She cites 3 reasons she feels confused, and it's funny because all 3 reasons she cites just display her unfamiliarity with a normal relationship. She's confused as to how he is able to go out on a normal date with her after having sex with her, and why he hasn't tried to have sex with her again. And this really shows how foreign the idea of a relationship not centered around sex is to her, which is actually completely normal, but this is just baffling to her. Having been forced out of her comfort zone, she decides not to proceed and she calls it quits. But before she can, a previous lover of hers walks up to her in the middle of her conversation with Kanai and completely calls her out for being a slut and warns Kanai to stay away. And then we get to see, for the first time, the display of a different side of Minagawa's personality, where internally she is boiling over what that guy said and claims that it was just because he failed to pass her test to become her boyfriend. And for me, this was a total disconnect, because this entire time, Minagawa has been asserting that she essentially just toys with people for the sake of toying with them, and now she is saying that she was just testing people. Minagawa responds to this assault on her character and admits to it, but then she follows with saying something very interesting. She says she doesn't think she will live up to Kanai's expectations, and this is a monumental shift in her character right here, because up until this point, her lack of regard for all the people around her give us the sense that she feels such a high regard for herself that she really can't be bothered with the emotions of those around her. But now, her stance has shifted to her thinking that she is not good enough for Kanai, and perhaps this is the way she feels in general. Perhaps she pursues shallow, empty relationships to avoid truly disappointing people, because after all, why would she take a risk on her personality being able to satisfy someone when she is positive that her body can? Now, Kanai disregards the assault and says that he accepts her as she is, and in this moment, we really see Minagawa lose her ever-present icy-cold composure, and she caves in to another date with him. Now, the episode ends with Mugi laying out all his cards on the table. Minagawa comes over to spend time with Mugi for sexual relief, I suppose, and afterwards, as she is grading papers, Mugi decides to take control of the situation, and he asks her once again to go out on a date, and pretty much explodes with all of his pent-up frustration. And remarkably, this actually works, and she asks him where he wants to go. Now, whether or not this is actually going to lead to a date is something I can't really say for sure. But what I can say for sure is thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please share, like, and subscribe for more. And as always, stay sexy, internet travelers.